So,
Very
yeah,
well.
okay. Welcome to episode 1 of the ECast, and we have Gehad on today, so welcome in.
Yes, hello. Hello,
So,
guys.
we haven't really prepared any questions for this episode. Can you guys talk real quick? I gotta test the audio.
What?
Okay, it does work. So,
Hello. Hello,
um,
guys.
we're just gonna be talking about you, I guess. That's kind of the whole point.
Let's
So,
go.
I guess we can start off with how did you get your name? Gehadimad. Like, where did it come from?
All right, so my name was initially gotten from the fact that it was my real name
Really?
in real life. So I just yeah, I just it was the way I thought it was spelt when I was 6 years old. So I just
Okay.
made that.
So your name
Yeah,
is not actually spelled Gehadimad, or what?
yeah. No,
Okay.
it's
That's
spelled
actually,
with a J.
that's
So
actually really interesting.
Yeah. That's I didn't. That's yeah. I guess.
I'm actually not gonna lie.
Um.
yeah,
So I guess So your hardest tower is TOEV, right? Like
yeah. I guess you could say that.
you what? Sorry.
I guess you can say that. Yeah, it is
Alright.
COEV.
And like, what would you say like that TOEV is like fine where it's placed currently on the list, or should it be like lower or higher up?
Um, Currently with the community status, yeah, it is. It's fine
Alright.
where it is right now.
Um. So I guess we're talking about like JTO. Is it like was where did you find out about the game? JTO in the
Um,
beginning.
for JSO, I don't really know. I was just interested in hobbies in general. And then when I started picking up some tiered hobbies, I noticed there was this game called Jupiter's Towers of Hell, so I tried
Hmm.
it. Then I got to Tower of Anger, and I just started to quit it.
Okay.
And then I came back after like 8 months to try it again, and then I just got consistent.
All right. And um, I guess is there any tower like that you want to beat but you have not beaten yet? Like
Um, Let me think.
any goals?
Just well, I do want to end up beating some Tower of Impending Doom. I think, yeah.
The CIV one, like the rip off.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, that was a really good tower. And I
Yeah.
think I want it to be my last goal.
That really? Are you gonna quit after you beat 2ID, or is it like final?
No, I'll probably just still be active in the community, but I won't be
Mhm.
doing much because I have to
Yeah,
focus on real life stuff.
that's fine. I guess it is like so. Are you a mod in TTC or not? Cause I haven't really been in the server.
Yes, I am.
So is like is would you like is there if there is anything you would change about TTC, what would it be if you had to say something?
Um, Probably the list in general. There's nothing too much
Like
happening in TCC at the
placements
moment.
or
Other than,
just the list in general?
yeah, the list in general. I
Okay.
think it's a little unorganized,
I can
and it
see
could
that.
possibly be better.
Yeah, I think it definitely could use some work if but
Yeah, true.
I guess just yeah. Um so like what about is there like any towers in specific that you would say personally you would switch with something, or is there anything that needs to be higher or lower if you could change it? You know,
Yeah, there's definitely one tower that I have in mind.
which is
That the Tower of Flagrant Aggravation. I feel like it
where's it
definitely needs to be
placed?
lower considering.
Is it like where's it placed? Like top 20? I don't know.
I mean, yeah. Wait, let me check the list actually.
All right.
I believe it's
It should
top
be
7.
around.
I mean,
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
You
top
can ask
7,
him
yes.
questions too.
I didn't prepare none, bro.
You just think you can think about them.
I'm too busy enjoying my pizza.
Bruh. All right, fair enough.
Alright, so I'd personally say Tofa is around, like, a little easier than Steeple of Cheeseburger.
Mhm. That's bro. Chibo cheeseburger's just like what the hell, man. How the fuck did somebody verify that? It's just like It's insane to
Yeah,
me.
no, I have no idea.
It's so
Probably
dumb,
some
bro.
really, really good shots
Yeah.
because that tower is really hard to do in general. I
If
mean, steeple.
if there like is there anyone, because you're one of the best JTO players at least in the community, would you say there is anybody in like the community that you like are not like rivals with but you look up to and want to like if you could like is there anyone that like you know
Oh,
Yep.
anyone that I look up to,
yeah
like an idol.
yeah I guess in the
Um,
community.
I mean, if I had to say much, it would be either Tin Enderman or someone like Speechless.
You know, yeah, cause yeah, like Tin Enderman is just insane at the game, man. I do not know how he like. You know, it's funny,
Yeah.
cause I'm still friends with him, but I was friends with him like back when he was like starting the game, and he had a lot like he had a lot of raw skill in terms of the game at least, cause he was like beating all the areas in like order from like easiest to hardest. It was crazy watching him like
That's
get better at
that's
the game.
true actually. Yeah, he was generally ahead of everyone when it came to skill.
And would you say that you're better at like in terms of the game? Are you better at the raw skill part or like the grinding part of it? Like, what's your best like? I guess.
I'd say yeah. I think I get what you mean. Yeah, raw skill or consistency. But yeah, I think I'd be equal in both. But I'm generally better in raw difficulty. Yeah, raw skill
Yeah. So
for the
so
most part.
I think like recently there's been a discussion about if TOMN is like top 10. Do
Oh, wait.
you have any like thoughts on that? Like to like
Just give him a second.
yeah okay. It's because his cousins are over.
Uh, nah, really, your
Oh, okay.
question.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Hammer.
TUMN being top 10.
Yeah. Do you think that like do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, I mean, yeah.
Do you think it's
For a
like
person that does play on another FPS compared to the regular people playing right now, I think it should be a little higher.
do you like what FPS do you play on? Like what FPS do you consider to be like legit, I guess? If you
I mean, I consider FPS to be legit in general, like 75 and 90. That's fine. I just play on 60
so
FPS
anything
because my
you would
laptop cannot handle
so would you
anything.
say anything above like 90 is unlegit?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it nerfs pretty much everything.
Mm.
Else get it's over.
Exactly, bro. And I'm thinking about so like it is like about the game, right? Like if what's your like favorite area in the game if you had to pick one with like
Definitely Zone 5. It stands out quite a lot and
Really?
it has a really nice ambiance, yeah. I
and
just like the area.
it's what's your favorite tower like in the entirety of the game
Um,
if you had to pick one?
in my opinion, it's like Tower of Polychromatic Zero.
I find
Yeah.
yeah, I found most
I
of,
love
I think like most of the insanes in the game are kind of just like they're not like some of them are
Yeah.
kind of bad.
They just get
Please.
repetitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They don't stand out as much as Tower of Polychromatic Zero does, and that's what makes that tower special.
Mm.
Like Poly Zero, RER. Like those are like probably like the best insanes, like by far.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I mean considering I also think zone like my favorite tower is also in zone 5. I will say it's a good area, but it's definitely flawed. Like some of the towers really don't like have a theme in there.
Yeah.
Like guided trials or like anticlimactic outcomes. Those are like they don't really fit inside the area. I think
And then
more or less
experiences
yeah like
still didn't fit.
like there's a lot of towers and areas just in general that don't really fit inside of rings or zones. It's just yeah, it's kind of just weird like seeing some of them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's not really about the towers. For me, it's more so the lobby.
I guess yeah, the lobby is also a big part of like the impressions of getting into a ring or zone at first.
Yeah.
Like for zone 8 for example, it's kind of like I really like the lobby that you spawn into. It's really cool, but I guess
The towers just don't meet.
yeah, some of the zone 8 towers are kind of just hit or miss, I guess you could say. especially like Tower of Never Ending Fun, for example. That's kind of just
Oh yeah,
Played
that's just
Ball Pit
completely out
it's
of
Tower.
it.
yeah, it's bad. It's
For
not.
Ring 7, that tower is just completely out of its league. I don't know.
Yeah. What's like, what's like if you had to pick any like hard tower you've done, what's like the one that like you hated the most, like grinding out of them all?
Question.
Um,
It's actually a good
okay,
question.
well, it it could be obvious, but it's Tower of Elongated Runs.
Really? I did not actually know that.
Yeah, I've
I've
had such a horrible time with it.
yeah.
It's just not
I feel
fun at
like
all.
just in general, elongated runs is not very fun, like to grind. Overall, it's
Yeah,
just kind of
it
bad.
really isn't. I mean, a lot of people thought it was Tower of Eternal Void, but I
I
don't know. That
you
run
know
caused me some mental issues, and
yeah,
it's just
I
not.
thought really you hated Eternal Void as well. Um,
I mean, it was horrible, but I was generally getting consistent, so I couldn't really say much about it.
all right. So, like, in terms of the entire game as a whole, is there like anything that you find flawed about the game that you will change if you were like a developer of JTO?
Um, yeah, definitely. There is one thing that's missing, and that's the scripting.
Yeah,
There
that's.
just seems to be scripts all over the place when it comes to JTO,
Hmm.
and it's really flawed.
Like, okay, in terms of playing JTO, is there like any other games that you play in like your free time other than JTO?
Yeah, I do, but it's mostly just Roblox in general. Although
Yeah.
I do play with my brother some car
Okay.
racing games, and then there's another game called SCP-3008. That's also a pretty fun
Yeah,
game.
it's a pretty good game, honestly. Um, like what in like terms of like towers that are on the list, do you think that most of them are like good quality or the margin of them bad quality? Like,
I mean, I'd say they're mid. They have some design, but they don't really stand out as much as the other towers.
mhm.
Most of them are fine.
Is there like any? Have you ever tried to like build a tower or like you have any lost like towers that you started but never really finished? Have you ever?
Um, Mostly every time I just try to build a tower, it's usually a collab with one of my friends and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't really have much building experience
Like,
when it comes to towers.
would you ever think about becoming a builder, or are you strictly like against that and would rather be a player?
Honestly, both are fine, but becoming a builder would be interesting.
I guess it's very different from like playing the game. I think it's in terms of like every game, it's very different being a top player and like a top builder.
Exactly.
They're
The
very
problem with building is that you have to take into account the people's opinions on the jumps in general, and then you have
exactly.
to
That's
nerf that.
like
And then other things
yeah,
like just like lag and like how laggy is the game gonna be?
cause
Yeah.
crazy builds like sometimes like he has a couple
The
towers.
chromatic haze incident.
Yeah. What happened
Oh
there?
yeah, that's all.
Uh, I believe Mint, like Mint exists. Like he
Mm-hmm.
was complaining in TTC general about there being like just it was like extremely laggy. Like it's not low end friendly.
I didn't
So
know. Yeah, that's
Honestly, I haven't tried it. Should probably give it a try
yeah.
sometime.
You should honestly, but you're still verified, bro. Still looking for a verifier.
true.
Actually, wait, it isn't verified. I could do it.
No, he hasn't.
And Compact got the floor 5 and then just hasn't played it.
Yeah, and I tried to do all
Oh,
jump, but I didn't like the gameplay wasn't really for me. So you should
I
though.
mean, it's not too whack. It's kind of interesting,
I find
especially
it
with
good,
the.
honestly.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess it's just in every other game it's the same with like being a top builder or like players just very different in terms of like creativity, you know.
Creativity is the
'Cause
hardest part.
like Gehad, if you didn't find Jato, what is there any game you think you would like want to become good at if you weren't like if you didn't become good at Jato?
Actually, I'm not too sure. In fact, most of the other games are just they usually get repetitive. But JTO is one of the games
Mm.
where you can be good at every single skill set and just generally master it,
Yeah, that's valid, I guess.
as well as
But like,
obbies as a whole.
mhm. But
But if I had to choose, I'd definitely choose like FPS shooter games. Those are also really fun.
oh yeah, dude, those are great. I've played like a couple shooter games, but they're not really for me. But they're pretty fun. Like when you occasionally play them with friends, I guess.
Yeah, with
Like
friends especially.
like Arsenal and stuff. Those are pretty fun.
I haven't really Arsenal, just like R6 and like COD
Mhm.
and stuff.
Like also those, I guess I don't really play them a lot. Like I've tried to play them, but they weren't really for me. I guess it's just
Yeah.
I stick to other games mostly. But I guess if in terms of like JTO, is there like in Pit of Misery, right? Is there like what's your opinion on most of the towers? Are they good or are they bad or like they mid? Like
In Pit of Misery, especially, most of the towers need a lot of work. I
yeah.
feel like the staff just really overlooked all of the towers, and then they just put it in and forgot everything.
Like I have personally I haven't really played any of the upper towers, but what I've heard is like they're just not very like most of them aren't too good, and I think that comes from the fact that you just kind of it was the first thing they ever put in, like it was the first time they ever tried to do something with like hard towers that wasn't like catastrophic. So
Yeah. To be fair, honestly, that's the entire reason why people have a bad stance on horrific
yeah,
towers and Unreal
like
and above.
it's I think the Pit of Misery 2 that released is a lot better, at least in terms of towers that were there.
Yeah, but people
I
don't
love
actually
Dead
see those towers. They just look at Pit of Misery and then they're like, oh yeah, these towers are garbage, horrific is garbage, everything is garbage.
Exactly. I feel like just people got a bad like horrific plus got a bad rep because of it, and
Yeah,
it was kind of affected because of Pit of Misery in the start. So you know,
yeah, everyone mostly depends on first impressions, so that
but
could be a
I
reason.
think also just all the towers that were below like horrific were also pretty bad. Like you got toxic, vindictive maneuvers like overthinking life choice and
Oh
shutting
god,
excursion.
yeah.
Like all of those are not good. And I feel like it sucks because JTO portrays itself as a hard obby game. Therefore, if you like make all of the towers that are in Pit of Misery, if you don't make them good, I don't think it will entice people to like very much try to go for them because
Exactly, yeah,
of what
very true.
like for example like overthinking life choice is a 90-minute tower that's made by it near a lot of people probably aren't going to touch it because of that fact and like Tower of Vindictive Maneuvers is an old like shitty ass tower that just it's not good. And then Toxic is like one of the only good towers, but again that one's not best quality.
Not even
And I just feel
quality-wise,
like
it's not even good.
yeah, and I just feel like Pit of Misery 2 was a lot better because it had a lot of towers that were just of better quality in general. It was just
It
kind
just
of
has towers that range and like different skill sets.
and yeah, that's why I think it's better because
It's more available
Pit
for
of
you.
Misery was just in whole like just a skill based like
It was no Pit of Misery was just an entire mess in general. It was
yeah
meant to
it
be an April Fool's joke, and then they just scrapped it to become one of the hardest areas.
yeah I feel like do you play the events that they put inside of the game like Halloween, Christmas, those type of
I
events?
used to, yeah. Some of them actually enticed me to play that, and I mean, I actually did try this 100 million celebration
Yeah.
event or whatever it's
Oh
called.
God, dude, I forgot to even talk about this. God, have you played the 100 million revenge like yet?
Uh, no, actually,
It
what's
is,
the
it
plan?
is probably the worst thing that the game has decided to put in the game so far. It's horrible. Like and I feel like it's just I feel like the developers just hasn't been on a good run recently about like updates and stuff. It just hasn't really been like good for like weekly challenges, for example, and like the event like they just recently it hasn't been good like the gate in terms of the game, and
Everything is going to tumble down soon anyway. It's nothing much.
I feel like we're all looking forward to Zone 9 because it's kind of what's gonna be the next big thing, cause it's gonna
Zone
have
Yeah,
9 drop is still gonna probably not. It's gonna fall
it.
off in a few days.
I've like
that's exactly it.
you know okay Gehad, like when did you start like playing the game? I forgot to ask you, but like what year was it back then?
When did I start obbying?
Yeah.
I started obbying in around Well, I got interested in him around like 2018 to 2019.
Were you
Like late
like
2018.
were you playing other obby games before you started JTO?
Yes,
Um
I was in tiered obbies.
oh yeah, yeah. What like what do you ever like play tiered obbies, and so what's your like hardest tier obby you've beaten?
Sometimes I play tiered obbies, and my hardest tiered obby is Frostbite to
Mhm.
tier 17.
Jesus, man. Is it
Frostbite.
like is Frostbite any good? I can't like I feel like it's just has a bad rep, honestly.
Honestly, honestly, yes, it is. It's pretty good
Hmm.
for a tier 17, the way the jumps are executed.
Well, yeah, I feel like just tiered obbies in general are just kind of just compacted difficulty because of how short they are. Like you can pack a lot of difficulty into it because
But
how short
yeah,
they are.
that's the entire reason why people don't like tiered obbies in general. They just can't do the jumps, and so they just have advanced stats on it.
Yeah, like if tiered obbies were any longer than they were and they had that difficulty, they would be like very very not fun, I guess.
Yeah, they wouldn't be fun at all to grind.
like
That's
like
true.
like I remember. Okay, I don't know if y'all remember this, but back when like Stairway to Heaven was like considered impossible, that was like, and then now that people are doing it's just shown like how far difficulty has really come inside of this game.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Eh,
progression wise, everyone's doing really good.
yeah, I feel like just and everything that we fought was like never gonna be beaten. Like for example, when Top Krill Punishment was first like introduced inside of Ring 9, it was like this insane thing where everyone was like, "This is never getting beaten," and then like it got beaten, and it was like super weird because
Yeah, it
none
was
of
an
us.
entire huge event.
Yeah, like I feel like Ring 9 was definitely like the peak of like when it was like released. It was definitely the most like anticipated area, I guess, in the entire game.
Yeah,
Um,
that's very true.
and I feel like just in general, like rings and zones get very forgettable. Like they get very forgettable. Like for example, I remember when Zone 6 released, it was kind of big, but now like nobody really remembers Zone 6 anymore, and like nobody really plays it anymore. It's kind of honestly sad that,
Yeah,
but
they just aim for higher stuff until JTO just decides to give up its quality and decides to go down.
mm-hmm.
But
And
maybe that's just my view on it. I think JTO would probably go down in
in a few
a few months or
years,
so.
like
Yeah, actually a few years, not
I
months.
think Jato in the state that is in currently definitely has potential, but I feel like after like Zone 10 comes out, I don't know really what's gonna happen with the game because I don't know if people will still be interested in playing it because there's been a lot of theories about that Jato will die out in a couple of years because people weren't as excited for the game as when it began.
Yeah, that's why standards are slowly increasing because they have to excite everyone inside of the community.
Yeah, like when you start a game, every update you make, like people expect more and more from you until you can't deliver with that, and then people will
Yeah,
not start liking it. That's
you can't get to that standard anymore, and
Yeah,
then all
like
of a
so
sudden,
9 is
people.
like it's exciting, but it's at that point where they have to make it so unbelievably good that it becomes like I don't even know if they can do
You're
it
not gonna be
anymore.
able. Like nobody can run it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be enjoyable because nobody can run
Because
it.
they have to make it such high quality with the towers, but that means more objects, meaning that it's gonna be laggier, which means people on like lower end devices can't really play it anymore, like the game anymore, which kind of sucks, honestly.
There have been some theories that JTO will release a World 3,
But yeah, I
but I'm not
guess.
sure how true.
But I guess at that point in time, I don't really know if people will care. Like that's the thing. Like because
Yeah, exactly.
it's because like the JTO team are kind of like at that point where they're like they have to start working on all the rings in the zone, and they said they were gonna like start working on more stuff. But I feel like they cut down on a lot of the other stuff that people like events. Like I don't. There's not gonna be a Halloween event this year, which Gammander said, and then also like monthly challenges, like which was like one of the things that for example I play, and it's just they cut down on that quality. Like now it's just weekly challenges and they aren't original. And it just sucks that the
It's
game
the
has to
same
be that way.
challenges over and over again.
And I understand that if you want to work on something you have to cut down on something else, but I guess it's just when you have that many people on a team, it's like it should be able to work it out. But again, I just don't really know about that. It's
Yeah, that's why I don't really have a good view on the future of JSO because right now they're still depending on the community's support and opinions.
yeah, I
They
guess
haven't
so.
been doing much themselves.
Mhm. Um. Well, if you had to pick like a tower, what would be the worst tower in the game currently?
The worst tower.
Mhm.
I mean, excluding Pit of Misery, then I'd say TOCR, Tower of Champions Road.
Mhm.
It's unironically so bad. I mean, the design makes it look good, but the gameplay in general was just executed so badly.
Yeah.
I
I
feel
just
like it could have been way better.
crazy. I just got my food. Can you ask me questions?
I've been building the entire time.
I know you have, but my food just got here.
You asked like every question in the book already.
Dude, you got this. Come on.
What? All right. How about come up with questions and then I'll answer.
What do you mean?
Wait. Yeah, I'm the guest now.
No.
Nah. I have to think. I didn't prepare any. Will's just been talking the entire time. Crazy question, right? To the best of your ability, when did you start playing? Like around what time?
Um, it was around, oh, like in obbying or just like
Like
Roblox?
I think.
JTO.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, JTO was around 2019 when I actually started to play it.
The golden age.
Yeah,
That's when the game was actually good and the community didn't suck. Damn.
well, yeah, most of the community was just towards it near.
Okay. I
They
just
did
I
a
just
lot of stuff.
I just got a question. If like, what's a tip you would give to anyone like trying to start the game? Back like, you know.
Don't have high hopes.
I should take notes. The fuck.
You should, but.
Because the more hope you have, then the more, the more let down you'll be.
Mhm.
I feel like expectations is a sort of, it's not reliable when it comes to JTO.
No, I haven't asked you this. What was like your first soul crushing you beat?
Oh yeah, my first soul crushing would be Tower of Difficulty Chart, the classic version.
That one's so like weird to think back on, you know.
It's like
Yeah.
nostalgic, but like God, looking back at it, it was so
Mhm.
bad.
It was like.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Mhm. You know, like, I feel like the remap made it better, but it kind of just didn't keep up that like energy it had from the old version. Like none of, like it didn't. It just wasn't the same, you know.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, the new version is definitely better than the old version.
Mhm.
But the only thing that the old version can benefit from is nostalgia.
Cause I feel like everyone just remembers that, but it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's just not. It's just forgotten.
I think at some points it just comes down to like how did it like
How did they
influence.
even get in the game?
Yeah.
True. No, like if there's like an old version of the tower, you have to like think like besides quality, like how did it influence like how people think about towers and like just all of these other standards nowadays, you know? Like how did this like bring this, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Um. Hold on. I just got a big ass bite, bro. Hold on. Now, like, in terms of like the game, like what's the like, what do you think is the best difficulty with like horrific and Unreal in it too?
No, everything falls over after catastrophic. So I think the best difficulties are the ones in, like around intense. Yeah, intense probably has the best powers in general when it comes to gameplay.
I feel like a
I think
lot
it's
of
fun.
the I feel like a lot of the intensists were kind of just like forgotten though. Like a lot of towers were just in that
Yeah, no,
difficulty.
because people just tend to look over on the Unreals. They want to see how far the human limit can be pushed.
Mhm. Like it's still insane to me. Back when Pit of Misery was released, that like we did not think like anything like above catastrophic was gonna be beaten, but then people started making progress on them. It was kind of like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has doubts until it truly happens.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I feel like the most insane time was when Tav Eternal Void, Tav the Roost Peak, Vacant Hindrances, and Watermelon all like started getting beaten like by people, and it was like a new hardest every single time. Like I remember everyone put like new hardest every time they like verified it. It was just
Yeah.
and like now that Top Blind Fate has been beaten legit by the same guy who verified Watermelon. It's just the fact that we still have revolving fates, and that like right now at this current time nobody has really gotten like any like big progress on it, but the fact that in the future it might be possible for that to be beaten is just insane to me.
Yeah.
That
I mean, some people can't even fathom how it's even possible, so I think we
Yeah,
still have a little bit of
like
work to do.
like when Citadel of Infinite Void got like placed into the game, it was like I thought people weren't really gonna have interest in it, but the fact that it like blew up and so many people really like had interest in it was like weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
And I guess just it like is there like anything like it, because you upload like sometimes like obby completion on your YouTube, right? Like
Yes, I do.
would you ever considering like branching out into making like actual JTO videos, or is it strictly just like like actual edited videos, or would you just stick to completions? If you could.
Yeah, I actually did have this question at one point by another person, but yeah, I would. That is if I had a good PC though.
Yeah, I feel like
Right
just
now, with this, I can't.
because I have a lot of edited videos. I don't really edit JTO videos because JTO is not really the biggest thing for me right now. But I guess just if you have the like, I feel like if you have the ability to do something, like for example, if you're good at like, it will be, because I feel like if you, because you're one of the best JTO players in the community. If you were actually able to have like a good PC and you were able to edit videos, it will be, I feel like you would actually get a lot of views, because it would be something like, it would be something new,
Yeah.
that like really hard obbies could get like like made out of a video like in some way. And
I'd love to see that if I'm being honest.
yeah,
I'd really
same.
love to record and then give people some tips in general.
Like
How do you do?
yeah, I remember like back when commentaries were starting to get popular, it was like we had like very low like tier towers getting commentaries, and now we have like people like Adamir like doing a Todai commentary, and it's just like crazy to see, honestly.
That is true, yeah.
But I guess just it comes down to the fact that like a lot of people have just gotten better in the community,
They have really just
like a lot
started
of
to work on it.
names you've never seen before starting to come up. Like honestly, it's weird.
It's a
And
bit crazy, yeah.
yeah, I feel like it was funny because back when like TUGF got verified, it was kind of like everyone was thinking about Khan 2005. Like nobody talks about him anymore. It's kind of weird to think about that some people were like like some people like Khan 2005 probably aren't like as good as they were back then, but they left a huge impact on the community, and that's what's so special about them, I guess. Is
Yeah.
I guess just, do you think that like you want to make a big like impact on the community in some way by doing something at some point? If you like, what do you think that would
Well,
be?
I would love to, but I don't think I could with the current stuff that I have at the moment.
Why not though? Like, if you had to say.
I mean, for stuff that for stuff that entices people with making a huge impact on the community, I think I'd have to do something that most people don't even know is possible, like Unreals and stuff.
And that's
Usually,
yeah, like that's really hard to do, because it's just at
Yeah.
that point in time, it's just the skill set has been set so high that it's almost impossible to get something new, like a new hardest. Like because our hardest tower in the game right now is what, isn't it 2IV still? I think IKEA Tower used to
Yeah,
be.
at the moment it's Citadel.
And that has like 5 victors or something. I don't even know how many victors there are at this point. But at that point,
Yeah,
getting higher than that in terms of like skill, it's insane that it's probably gonna be possible at some point in time, and we just don't know it yet. You know, and that's yeah.
yeah, that is true. I mean, if you do manage to succeed and pass over onto the next difficulty, then you'll just be considered one of the best players
Mhm.
and just be an inspiration to a bunch of people. But then again, it's a little bit of a small community.
Yeah, like Jato in you gotta think because Jato has like what like 10 15 million visits. No, it has like 100 million actually. What am I saying? They just made an event. I'm stupid. But considering they have so many like visits and we consider like 100 million a lot, it's still at that point it's just not a lot at the same time. Jato is still a small community even if it's like cuz other games like let's just take for example Geometry Dash is a huge community and people can get up to like 100,000 subscribers, but for Jato I feel like that's just not really a possibility because the community is just so small at this point that I don't think we'll ever see a 100,000 subscriber YouTube channel in the Jato community. You know?
Yeah, I mean, unless it's been recorded by an actual YouTuber that got fame out of other games instead of J2.
Yeah,
Then
like
that
Matt. I know like Math Factor for example is like has like 400K and he's played Jato before, but someone purely from the community of Jato who can get like 100K, I don't think that will ever come at least in a
yeah,
long
would
time.
not be possible.
And I feel like if because Jatos might die at some point, it's probably just not gonna happen. And you know we've had like people who have gotten a lot of subscribers from it, like Adamir, Logan ISL, like II Alert, like people like those. But again, it's too small of a community to have that.
Can't really do much with a small community. That is true.
Yeah, and like our most I think our the most famous video of Jato is that one disconnect of the guy playing 2SM. But again, it's
Yeah,
yeah I it's weird to
yeah, no,
think
I
that.
see what you mean. Yeah,
Cause yeah, that one where he like disconnected while on the like yellow floor of 2SM. It has like 5.3
yeah.
million. It's crazy. But like the most what do you I don't even know what is the most like viewed completion video of a tower. It has to be like something
I
like
think it might be my fort's Tower of Futile
oh
Perusal
yeah,
video.
dude. Yeah, that was a huge community event. He even got a stat. He
Yeah,
got a statue in Ring 1. I remember that when that was like when it first got like out. It was just I feel like Ring 9 like the Ring 9 like when Ring 9 released to like the updates in between there were like the golden age of Jato because a lot of people were excited, but now it's just been Zone 8 released and it wasn't the same like as Ring 9 released, you know. It just wasn't
yeah,
it didn't live up to the same amount of like hype at that point. But I guess it's just the community is it's very interesting at least. Um, you know, cause
how to do some stuff in a small community.
yeah,
Especially,
I feel like at the same time the J2 communities doesn't have the best rep, you know, cause a lot of people are kind of toxic in this community, which kind of sucks, you know. Um,
yeah,
and it leaves just a bad impression for anyone else who wants to like be involved within the community, you know. Because I don't tend to use like the community of Jato because a lot of people just aren't very like cool and they're not very like they're kind of annoying, you know. That's just kind of what it is.
yeah. I
And
mean, if you do have a community, then you're
yeah,
most likely gonna get some really bad people. That is
hmm
true.
and I guess just it's like because of how small the community is, it just I don't feel like it should be a problem, but at the same time it is flawed, um, and it kind of sucks about it, you know, cause like there are some cool people in the community, but otherwise there's just a lot of people, especially there you like you can't avoid having people who are kind of like kids in the community. Like there's a lot of young people who play JTO, you know. I don't think there's a lot of people who are kind of above the age of like 18 who play the game, at least not that many. It's just a young community, and that's why a lot of people just are kind of annoying, I guess. You know.
I mean, when they start growing, then they'll decide to just move on from there.
I feel yeah,
JTO is really
like genuinely
cool.
speaking, people who like we tend like I tend like I've been playing this game since I was like what 11, 12, and I kind of just outgrew this game. Like it's not the like I feel like you just once you get older you realize this game just isn't, you know, what it was back when you started playing. Cuz
Yeah,
it was very different like from 2020 to now it's very different, like especially the community aspect of the game than what it was back then. And
the only thing you can do now is just impress people with your completions.
yeah, it's kind of just at this point if you like if you aren't good at the game in this time of year, it's just kind of
Yeah,
people don't really see you as like
People won't acknowledge you.
exactly
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
you're not gonna get anything out of it
because
for
like
good.
any top player is kind of like they have a lot of connections with other top players, right, and builders and stuff. But if you are kind of at that lower pace where you're like just beating the soul crushing, nobody's really gonna respect you and nobody's really gonna be friends with you in the community. But you know, it's kind of just
yeah, you're just gonna be seen as a lower rank. It's
and
just
you know it was so like it was I remember it was so much easier to make friends back in the day, like the other year, like 3 years ago it was so much easier to make friends in JTO, but now at this point in time it's kind of just been way harder to make friends in the JTO community because everyone is so focused on being good at the game that they just forget to be friendly, I guess, with others. And yeah,
They just don't have the mindset. They just don't care about others.
they yeah it's just it, I mean, the game just hasn't been doing good recently, and I feel like it needs some form of change if we want to keep the game, you know, like running as it did back then, you know.
yeah.
Cause even
There
the
have been local YouTubers that have
Mhm.
touched the game, and then it gained a lot of popularity,
Yeah,
like Active Speed.
but again, you just like if for example, again, I'm gonna take the example Khan 2005. He verified TOGF, but at the same or he I don't really know if he verified TOGF, but anyway, he just can't keep up with what like is going on right now. If he tried to keep going in this community, it just wouldn't. It just wouldn't because the skill set is so high at this point in time that we just we just can't have old players have the same like, you know, be on the same
Mindset, yeah.
level. And that's why we start seeing a lot of new people like Skitsuna started playing and then he gained popularity because of the game because he's one of the best people in the community. And yeah, it's just
Yeah,
but I guess you like you know, I feel like a lot of people like you know, I feel like you are very popular in the community, but again, you aren't on the same popularity as some of the higher ups people because, you know, if we take it into consideration, like if you're running like let's for example take if you were running on a marathon, people are of course gonna acknowledge the person who came in first place, therefore the best player. But if you are someone like you who's like still extremely good at the game, but is not like in that circle of like top players like not like there's still a lot of people who know you obviously, but again you're not the same popularity as Skitsuna because you're not number one, you know, and that's kind of just it kind of just is like I don't really know what like
yeah, that is true. To be fair, I don't know how Skitsuna gained popularity by just trying to beat some towers, other than Tower of Eternal Void
it's
and
just
Citadel of
yeah
Eternal
it's
Void.
just because those two towers were like extreme like he started streaming those towers and then I guess he gained popularity from there, but yeah.
Yeah, he's mostly aiming for trying to get into the the community
Mhm.
opinions.
Is there
Actually, I don't know how to explain it really,
like if you
but
oh sorry yeah go on.
yeah, no, that's fine. Um, I think Skitsuna is just mostly trying to get into where the people think it's impressive. Like
Mm-hmm.
something like Citadel of Infinite Void was hyped up for so long, and then everyone expected Skitsuna to be the verifier of it because he was the only one grinding it and
Mm-hmm.
live streaming it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
And
it's just a matter of expectations.
yeah, again, like you said, like when you said for new players, like don't have too high expectations because if you do that, then you won't really get anything out of it. So I guess it's just like if who like if you had to pick one, who is your like favorite like top player that you've seen in recent years? Like like I'm gonna give it a minute because he's muted right now, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
so like if you had to pick a no,
Oh,
sorry, that's my bad. Um,
yeah, like your just favorite top player.
mm-hmm. Because I feel like there's a yeah, it's just other
Maybe
people are
top
more entitled
personality,
than
talent act.
yeah. I feel like just some people are more entitled than others when it comes to the game. Like Skitsuna, like Gehadimad is on the could technically have the same potential as Skitsuna, but he isn't. He doesn't have the same commercial success as him.
He's also just held back, like just
Mm-hmm.
because of his setup and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's what I wanted to get into too as well. If you don't have the high tech equipment, you're not gonna be able to because he plays on a laptop, right? Skitsuna probably plays on like a free monitor setup. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of just
That is, yeah, that I'm just mostly held down by
yeah,
how
like
my
if you
setup is.
had a good PC, you could genuinely be at the same, if not the same skill level as Skitsuna. But again, it just sucks for people who are lower, like the who doesn't have equipment to
Just
do
less
it.
fortunate.
Because like again, I also started the game on like a school PC, and then I got a PC from that I bought off my sister because she bought a new one, and then I could actually start like beating more stuff. Like I could actually start doing stuff, and that's just it's unfortunate that people can't do that if they have like a low stuff, and the game just isn't optimized very well for those people. It's kind of just
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at this point, there isn't really much optimization that can be done
yeah.
except for new people that try to actually apply for building.
And then like it just for people who are for like it because of the game has to gradually get better. They just can't keep up because they have to use LDM for every single thing and they still probably lag. It's just very unfortunate. For those people, cause like if you just had like a actual PC you could play on, you could probably beat like Unreal in very short time. Because you've made progress on top line Fate, right?
Yeah, I did.
What did you get to again? Floor 7, something there.
I got to 8
Yeah,
and then I
like
just stopped really playing.
again, if you had a better like setup than what you do now, you could probably have honestly beaten it now, but you're just held back by that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm held down by the fact that I can't really use anything higher than 60 FPS.
And that's just really sucks because for like Skitsuna probably plays in like 90 or something, and that's
Yeah,
kind of like
he usually plays
Jesus.
on 144
Yeah,
because that's what
again,
his
that's just. I feel like one of the most interesting people in the community has been probably Literature Desk because I feel like nobody really talks about him anymore. He hasn't done anything major in a while. Um, cause he was doing CIV and he just he just stopped after that. It's weird,
Yeah,
honestly.
no, he just wanted to do it for a personal
I
achievement. He
know.
didn't actually want to be recognized out of
Mhm.
it. But he does actually still do towers. He's beaten Tower of Substantial Quietus,
Mhm. What?
and then he's just moved on, I guess.
So what is your current grind right now? Is it Blind Fates?
At the moment, yeah,
Okay,
but
and
I do just randomly do cleanups.
yeah, that
If
have you done? You haven't beaten every tower in the game, have you? Now.
Yeah, I haven't because I
Okay.
can't really care to do so.
It's just I feel like it's just a lot of people think because it's kind of because a lot of people think that people who have beaten like every tower in the game are like because they're higher on the leaderboard means they're better, but a lot of people like some people can have 120 towers and have beaten like like one of the hardest horrifics. Like it's really just if they
I mean,
bother.
it's a matter of how fast you progress compared to
Exactly.
other people.
And
Some people need to. do
Hmm.
some other
And
towers.
I feel like some other people are just more gifted into the game if they have a lot of raw skill because you could go very fast up and beat stuff like TOVH because it's very raw skilled. But if you get past that, you actually have to put time into it, and then you kind of your raw doesn't really do anything, and then you stop there. And yeah, it's just it's yeah I'm running out of questions, man.
JTO's complicated.
Really is, man.
It's one of the most like just mentally draining games out there, probably.
Yeah, it's just plus I guess the game just doesn't really have like a lot of stuff you can do once you get up like to the higher end of the of playing towers.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
For
You're just
like
gonna have to meet up
because
with some
TTC at that point, because if we're taking into account Jato has like 324 towers plus some other ones that don't give badges, but after that you have to go outside the game and then find towers from there, and you still don't have a lot of options even with that. And that's why Jato is just one of the most mentally draining games when, as you said, when you're up there in that skill set, because you're not gonna be able to find much stuff to do after that. Like then you have to forcefully grind something that maybe you don't want to do, and that's just it kind of sucks. And for example, like because a lot of people tend to be like players instead of builders, um, for this game.
Most builders nowadays aren't really building things that most players want.
Exactly, they're just building it to get that clout, and that's why some games, like for example, Geometry Dash is like you have a wide variety of things you can do in that game that you can pick from. But in J2, it's just not the same, because there's just not
I
a
mean,
lot.
as soon as you get into the higher leagues, you're limited to like finite options. You're
Hmm.
just like you have to go the way other people are going.
Yeah, and that's kind of just what I don't really like about, which is why I don't really set myself to play J2 too much more because I don't find it too, and that's why a lot of people also quit. It's just they don't find the game interesting after they get like good because you just don't have much stuff to do after that.
Yeah, there's just nothing else.
Yeah, it's just, but I guess the game is just weird, honestly. Like it's just a niche game that some people like to play for fun, I guess. Um,
I mean, if played with friends, it could be fun in a way, like how other games do it.
but the fact like it's just hard towers have such a bad rep that at this point in time people just don't really want to get good because they know they have to do something that they maybe don't want to do at that point, and that's just kind of sad seeing that we have like some people can find the game fun grinding higher towers, but some people just don't really have, and some people just don't have the time to like grind hard stuff out as much as some other people maybe do, and that's kind of
I mean,
like
something could also relate to their mindset. You know,
yeah, like if you
if
have
their
a
mindset isn't as
like
good
if
as
you
other people's,
exactly
they'll
like
most likely not be
if you
fun.
get if you get demotivated from other people doing stuff that you're doing, you're not gonna be able to be up that higher end because you know a lot of people like you just don't have the right mindset to beat
Yeah.
stuff.
Sounds familiar.
To you?
Maybe.
Okay, dude.
That kind of sounds like me.
Fair enough. Um, but I guess what I guess we're nearing the end of the podcast episode now. But I guess if just if you had to like say what you think about the game, what would you like say about it?
Well, I mean, it's fine, but it could definitely use some work.
Yeah, like a
I
lot
feel
of
like there's a lot of flaws
yeah.
that are hidden inside.
And I feel like if J2 wants to make a difference, they're gonna have to change up some of the stuff they're doing, and
Yeah, because in general, they're just hyping up people more and more, and then
and
it gets to a point where you cannot reach a higher standard
yeah,
than what.
and then it crashes once you get to a high enough point where it's just you get to that hype level, and then it disappoints, and then people are not gonna like it. So and that's just because back in the early days of the game they could release something of not the best quality, but people still like it because it was early, and the more you update a game, the more, you know, that's kind of how it is. The more you update a game, the more people are going to expect from you. So
Yeah.
I guess that's just what I wanted to say there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you know,
It's fun.
but the game just, it's complicated, you know. It's a complicated mess that probably that like, yeah.
It
Uh,
could be fixed
mhm.
within a good amount of
But
time if developers actually put their
yeah.
mind to it.
But I guess it's gonna wrap up here, I guess, because I don't really have any more questions for you. And yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, thank you for coming on the show. Um and yeah, you were the first, you know, you're the first episode, and I hope it was at least a little bit fun for you. But yeah,
yeah.
I don't have anything more to
Thanks,
say.
gang.
So, you know, crazy, you don't have anything more to say, do you? All right. Well, yeah, thank you for coming to the show, and yeah, I
All right,
guess.
see ya.
All right, see ya.